This is First and 15th. We talk about inspiration, motivation, life-changing moments, and conquering fears. Twice a month, we have amazing guests popping through. So be sure to like, comment, subscribe, and share.
So, hello everyone. Welcome back to the First and 15th. Today is January 15th, 2023, and I am excited to have Jessica Corbett joining us today. Now, Jessica, you are the very first guest of First and 15th. So, I say, yes, you're very special. So, we're going to go ahead and jump right in, Jessica. So can you tell us a little bit about yourself, what you do?
So I am Jessica. I am a Scorpio. I like long walks on the beach. I am a licensed realtor with Sampson Properties in the state of Maryland and Virginia. I'm a mom. I'm a wife. I am a woman of many hats, I guess. Deacon at my church, dog mom, pretty much anything you can think of.
Yes, you're doing it.
Retired kickball player. You know, I might come out.
Okay. Well, that's a whole other life. That's a whole other life for kickball, and so we're going to leave that to the side for now. But I wanted to find out, how did you get into the industry of real estate?
So I was in dentistry for about 15 years. And I was bored, just was bored out of my mind. And my husband, it's my husband that did it. He was like, you are not happy. You will not be happy working for someone else. You need to just work for yourself. You just become a real estate agent. And I was like, that's dumb. Real estate agents don't make any money. That was my thought process, right?
Okay, interesting.
But, so I said that, but then it kept lingering in the back of my mind. It just was like nagging me. And so I'm like, well, I don't even have a house yet, so I can't be a real estate agent. And then I think a few months later, we got our first house, right? And then I'm talking to my cousin, who was my realtor. And I was like, yeah, Cortez thinks I should do real estate. And she was like, I think you do great at it. You are such a very approachable person. You love helping people. And I was like, well, they don't have a class that works for my schedule. So this whole time, I'm like just trying to get away from it. And
trying to find ways to escape.
Exactly. I'm like, they don't have a class for my schedule. Lo and behold, there's a class for my schedule. So I take it.
Come on now.
I'm in the class. I'm sitting there taking the test that you have to take. And I'm like, what am I doing here? Still questioning myself. Whole time I'm getting like 90s and 100s on each test. Still questioning, like, is this for me? And then I went to go take the test, the actual test to get your license. You have a national part, a state part. And it took me 3 tries, but I finally got it. And so I became licensed in Maryland. And I'm like, okay, I guess this is what I'm supposed to be doing. And that was the beginning of my journey.
Okay. So then, since you already had a previous career in dentistry, how did you make the actual change from leaving dentistry opposed to being a dentistry person and also a realtor?
The dual career. Yeah. So I started off dual career.
Dual career sounds a whole lot better than a dentistry person.
No, so I was dual career. I started off, I was still full-time in dentistry. I was getting my real estate license and everything. Finally got that established, but that takes time. You have to build trust in people. You can't just say, hey, I'm a real estate agent, and then people are like, oh, okay, great. No, it took time. I had to develop. I had to learn. I had to research. I had mentors that guided me throughout my first few transactions, but my first transaction probably wasn't until about a year after I became an agent. And so it took time to figure out who I wanted to help and what that meant for me, and how do I market to those people to let them know that, hey, I'm a resource to help you. And my first client was my sister, and they were purchasing a property, and that literally was the beginning of everything. So, but I was still dual career at the time. And then I transitioned from full-time to part-time in dentistry. And then it came to a point where it was like, okay, it it was crazy because I was in an office. I'd moved around a lot, and I was in an office and I was part-time, and I just could not deal. Like, it just was like, why am I here? I was stressed. I was frustrated.
Right. You had a major commute too.
I was like, what is going on? And then it didn't help that I got a commission check and it was higher than my paycheck there for like 3 months. And I was like, oh. So I was in the office like, if this doctor say anything to me, just anything, I'll walk it out. But it was
you gone?
All right. I was like, I'm done. So I was having a conversation. I was praying and I was like, God, am I supposed to still be here? And he was like, no. And I was like, wait, you said that way too fast. And I don't think I heard you clearly when you said it. So you're saying I should just leave dentistry altogether and just jump head first into real estate? And he was like, yes. Yep. Hold on. Because, and I cried. Like, when I say I cried after that I was so scared because I was leaving my place of comfort, jumping into something that was totally unknown. I was like just freaked out. And I remember telling my husband, I said, listen, I'm going to leave, dentistry, and I'm going to do real estate full time. And he was like, okay. And I was like, okay.
He's your biggest supporter.
Yeah, he is my biggest supporter. He was like, okay. And I was like, okay. And so, and it did take time, for like a few months, but nothing was happening. And I had gotten to like a breaking point, and I just was like, God, I need you to step in. I need you to do something. Because right now, I literally just jumped into this head first. This is what you guided me to do. I need something to happen. I don't know what to do. And after that conversation, literally the next day, I had 3 clients. They were all looking for houses. The next day, all 3 of my clients went under contract on a house.
That is amazing, Jessica. So yes, you had like a little bit of doubt here and there, but shoot, God knew what he was doing. You're on the right path, Jessica. You're on the right path.
You got to do it afraid. That's the best thing to do. You just got to do it afraid. So
yes, and that actually takes us to our next question about how did you get past your fears? But I'm already kind of sharing that you did pray about it. You had your husband, give you support. But but honestly, I really do commend you for having the courage to leave your steady paycheck that you can count on, to go out there to something that is not known. So I know personally, I am scared of that. So I will keep my stage job, but it is scary. I'm very scared for that. I commend you.
It's like I'd rather be scared in something that I love than be stable in something I'm miserable in.
That is, Jessica, you better trademark that quote. Shoot, you got a new tagline or something.
I'd rather take it, and it reminds me of like, all right, not to get all spiritual, but it does biblically reminds me of the story of Peter and how they were in the boat and they were on water and they saw Jesus, and Peter was like, well, bid me to come to you. And Jesus was like, all right, come on. And he gets out the boat. And, the word never says that God did not like the other disciples any less because they stayed in the safety of the boat. Because they did. They were safe. This is my safety. This is my comfort zone. I'm going to stay in this boat. Peter is crazy to walk on water. So never said that God didn't love them any less, that God treated them differently, anything like that. But they never had the experience that Peter had of walking on water. And so it's like, do I really negate that experience because I want to stay in the safety of the boat that I'm not, which isn't really safe. Like, at any given moment, I can get fired from this job. There's COVID definitely taking place. When the government's furloughed, things happen. And it shows you that you're not as safe as you think you are. So I'd rather do something that I love and just deal with the fear of it. And fear is just an emotion. It doesn't make it, it's one thing my therapist tells me is emotions are just that. They're emotions. It doesn't make them factual. They're just feelings. And so you got to kind of have to push past those feelings. And so that's exactly what I did. And even now and then I still get afraid because, us realtors, we get paid when we close on a house. We don't know where our clients are coming from sometimes. And so, and it's just like, sometimes I won't have a client and sometimes I have 3. And so it just kind of goes up and down. And it's like, okay, my bills don't stop.
Right. So, you have the ebbs and flows.
Right. But like when I say God is my CEO, he really is. Okay, God, you see me. It's what we doing. and he always comes through. So
I love that, Jessica. I love that. So is there anything that you'd want to share to maybe help someone who is either thinking about getting into the field of real estate, or maybe someone else who may be thinking about leaving a steady career to do what they love? Because that phrase you had is just amazing. Because again, I personally, Carol Bush, I would be scared. My husband knows, my sister knows. I have faith, but I also have my fears. And so, what advice would you give to someone who is either maybe on the cusp of making that step, or maybe someone who needs to actually make that change?
A lot of times, whatever that thing that's nagging at you is the desire that God placed in you. He has something for you, and he needs you in that place. So he's going to continue to push. A lot of times he's going to make you uncomfortable where you are, because it's just like a plant. Like after you plant, at some point you're going to have to replant that plant. You're going to have to repot it because it's outgrown that pot that it's in, and you can't keep it there because it's going to eventually die. So it needs to be moved. And so it's scary. It takes time. I definitely say prayer. I definitely say create a strategy. Like I said, when I started real estate, I still was working in dentistry. So I was dual career for about a year. And then I slowly transitioned to part-time, and then I transitioned to real estate all in all. And then another thing that I did was I set a deadline. So I said, I'm going to fully commit to real estate for 6 months. 6 months, I'm going to give my all. And if nothing pans out, then I'll go back to dentistry. I have 15 plus years of experience. But I did. I dedicated everything into real estate, and it panned out. It works. And so it's scary. It's fearful. And I totally get that. And even now, you still go through those emotions. What I would say is don't let those emotions cripple you. And do your research, definitely study, and be patient and be consistent and be diligent. Continue to plant seeds, because in due time, you'll reap your harvest. It may not come, especially in real estate. For anyone interested in real estate, it may not come as soon as you become an agent. It's going to take time. You have to develop and perfect your craft. And it's a constant perfection. I'm constantly learning and constantly growing, because any position is ever evolving. But I would say if it's something that has been on your mind, there's a reason for it, and there's an importance to it, and there's a necessity behind it. So start getting the moving.
I love that. Oh, shoot. Jessica, I am emotional too. I have little tears coming out of my eyes, because my family and friends know that I cried tears of joy. I cried tears of like passion. And so I'm definitely getting teary eyed. My little eyeballs are watering. It hurts me right now. But I am just so.
I cry all the time. My husband's like, you crying again? Yes, I am. I do business.
I must say that I knew that you did have a previous career, but I never asked you how you actually made that change. So I definitely have learned some things today about you, friend, because I didn't know that you were doing this as a dual career. So I definitely commend you. I appreciate you coming on. But before we wrap up, where can people find you on social media or your website? Can't forget that.
So my social media, pretty much all social media platforms, you can find me at J Corbett Collective. JCORB as in boy ETT Collective. So that's my Instagram. You can on Facebook like that. And my website, www.jcorbettcollective.com. And yeah, it has all my contact information, phone numbers. There's nothing hidden, which is, I don't know if that's a safety issue or not, but whatever. Email, phone number, office address, everything's there. If you
your clients. Yeah. You are acceptable for those clients who are waiting in the wings, Jessica.
I am available to you.
I definitely thank you, Jessica, for joining me as my first guest for 1st and 15th, which is the newest project under the It's Carol Bush brand. I definitely have learned a whole lot, and I guarantee you have inspired people. So those who are on here now, those who will see the replay, you'll be inspiring some folks to make that change.
I'm proud of you for even jumping out and doing this. Come on, I'm proud of you. Come on, listen, if this is something that you've been desiring to do, I'm proud of you. Just continue to do it.
Continue. I appreciate that.
Of course.
So thank you again, Jessica, for joining us. Jessica is a realtor. She's licensed in the state of Maryland. I have a question for you, actually. Do you have any plans of getting to DC as well? Is that on your radar? Okay.
Okay. Maryland, Virginia, DC got a lot of one-way streets and a lot of you can't go down the street and you can't park there at a certain time, and it freaks me out. Yes. The answer is yes. I do plan on getting my DC license because DMV obviously go together. Am I in a rush?
Exactly.
Not really. I do have colleagues that I can refer DC clients to that I trust. So if anyone is interested in the DC property, I can still help you in some form or fashion. But, I just got my Virginia license too. So I'm trying to, just.
gotta do it. Gotta do it in phases and pace yourself. Right. But I am so excited for your career growth. As Jay Corbett, the realtor, I'm excited for all that God has coming for you and your family. And so thank you again for joining us on this episode of First and 15th, everybody. Check her out for real estate needs. And I will see y'all next time on February 1st.